let's get started. So, making space for joy. So often I hear, especially in like corporate America and most of our society, we hear that there really isn't a place for joy. That joy is a luxury, joy is something that exists outside of us, that it's always serious, it's always work. And I've found that women, especially mothers, oldest daughters, whatever have you, we have a very big responsibility to always be everything that everyone else has asked us to be, instead of who we want and who we are. And so in this journey, joy isn't only a luxury, it's a necessity. Because when we move from joy, instead of moving from fear, lack, all the other things, the creation no longer fits the old paradigm. It no longer fits what was, and it now moves into what we want to have, what we want to be. And the thing with the current paradigm most of us have lived in and were raised in, and it stems from a place of fear. These systems, like the media and the government and our family stories even, a lot of these are rooted in false narratives that are told to keep us small. They're told so that way we don't challenge what already exists and we just continue living in this cycle. If we step out of the role of the victim, a lot of times these systems like to keep us in this circular mindset of the victim because it keeps them in power. We aren't taught our power often. We aren't taught that we as an individual are the creators of our reality. We are not taught that we have the choice day in and day out to choose what does serve us. And all of the distractions that are there are put in place to keep you from creating from that space of love, from abundance, and from joy. Now, if we think of every single choice that we have every day, from waking up to going to sleep, the whole 14, 16, 18 hours, however long you're awake for, if you stop and think that every single moment that you have is a choice, then you can begin to take accountability for the life that you're living. You then begin to take accountability for all that is and all that you've created. And when you first look at it from that lens, that can be hard because maybe you don't like the life that you live. Maybe you don't like the people you've surrounded yourself with. And that's okay, because all of that place of I'm not happy here is fuel. And that fuel can be used to create what you want, because there are ways to alchemize that and use it to get you on the path of what you do want. Your power to choose to not stay at a job that doesn't fulfill you, to not live in a state that doesn't serve you, that doesn't give you the things you want, your friend group that doesn't like to do the activities that you like to do, all of those things are a choice. And if you wake up and change one thing and to choose to do something differently, your paradigm begins to shift. And all of a sudden, you move first and the universe moves in response. Now, this concept of choice is a consistent one. And that's the hard part, because a lot of people want to make one change today and say, okay, that's enough time. That's good. I did it. Where is the result? But it's the consistency. It's the consistency of the choice, because in this place of choosing something new, you're showing up for yourself, the person who deserves it the most, who is asking for it. And by you showing up for her, you're telling her that you love her more than the comfort of where you were at. You love her more than what has served you up until now. And that love is what creates that new beginning that you're so desperately looking for. And maybe you don't entirely know what that is, but you know that this moment doesn't feel right anymore. We've been disconnected from that part of us because the world we live in may not always hold space for that. It may not believe that that feeling is worthy, that that feeling is deserving. But it is, because if it's something that you can't get out of your head, if it's something that you can't let go, even though you have a million other things going on, that seed that will not die is important to you. And the learning how to make a choice every single day to get that result, that is where we begin to hold the space for, is it enough? Right? Like I have people come to me that have children and they say, I don't have the time. I have so many other responsibilities. I have to work. I have to care for my family. I have to do all these things. And you're 1,000% correct. All of that is true. And if you don't take care of yourself, nobody's going to take care of you. It's saying that I'm standing here for myself because I am worthy of it. I am deserving of it. Showing up for myself is not only a want, it's a need. And even if that showing up for myself is 30 minutes a week, if we hold the belief that that is enough, then it is enough. Because we know that we are at least consistently showing up for ourselves in that space. And to shift out of a space of lack and fear and to move out of that and to consciously make choices that are going to lead you to your deepest desires, that's how we create joy. By stepping out of that role that we've always played and allowing us to be a new version of ourselves. You owe that to yourself. You deserve that. Because no one's going to give it to you except you. No one's going to show up for you except you. And if every single one of us made the choice to be our true, authentic version, that is going to continue to spread in a way that's going to empower and lift up other women and help them to also do these things. So by no longer holding on to the narratives that don't serve us, we clear out space and we ask ourselves, why have we identified with these things? Why has this been our truth? And just becoming the observer now shifts the narrative and allows space. And when we have that space, it's almost like we're clearing out the garage. What are we going to do with it? Now we can fill it with things that we loved in childhood, like dancing, or coloring, or playing soccer, or making necklaces, and those little changes of showing up for yourself and creating those are what creates the life that you want. Our attitude and our mindset is what controls our outlook on life. So if we were to have so many things that we dislike about our job, there also can be things that we do like about our job. For example, maybe we like our coworker. Maybe we like the type of work that we do, but we don't like the environment that we do it in. It's shifting our mindset to focus on the things that align with what we are in tune with, right? It's focusing on the things that we like, because if we can find proof that there are examples of this within our current reality, then we're constantly building on it. So if it's not about ruminating in the thing that isn't serving us, it's trying to trying to shift your perspective. So if I'm looking this way, it's moving it this way, right? Like, it's not a major shift, but it's helping us to better focus on what is available and then following the breadcrumbs from there. Because what happens is when we just make one change and we tell the universe, okay, I'm ready for something different, and we make that paradigm shift, then the next thing is able to reveal itself. Because when we move first, then the universe moves in response. We don't always know the how of how it's going to work out. But if we make a decision to change something, then we open space for a new beginning. Joy requires courage. Joy requires consistently trying and failing and seeing what is going to work and what isn't going to work. But it's also about enjoying the journey and saying, okay, like, I trust that even though I don't love this entirely, it's going to get me where I'm going to go. We fall into this pattern of saying, oh my God, I'm a victim. Oh my God, I'm stuck. Oh my God, this is the way my life goes. Yes, and you also have the capacity to say, I am the creator of my reality, and I will not stay somewhere that does not serve me. I will not do this. And if I can't make the change today, well, I'm going to change my mindset, and I'm going to find the joy. And as the joy continues to rise, when you begin to rise, opportunities begin to present themselves, because you're no longer in alignment with what is. But there also comes a time in our journey where we have to say, I just have to take a leap of faith. I just have to try something I've never done before and see what happens and go my separate way, because the universe will not fail you. If you know in your heart that something's not right for you, then you also have to have accountability to that and take a step back and maybe leave a situation. And creation needs time. And creation needs space. And your taking care of yourself is what is able to attract more, because you're not just giving, you're receiving. And when you receive, you're telling the universe, you're telling the paradigm that I want more of this. I want more joy. Our world that we live in likes to make us feel that we have to constantly be in this hustle and grind, and we need to constantly be moving and going and doing. That's true. And look where it got us. There are so many things that don't work within those systems. They fall apart because they're rooted in this never-ending cycle. The seasons are there for a reason. There is a time and a place for everything. And caring for yourself and showing up for yourself is the first part of everything you're creating, because you're creating it from a place of abundance, not a place of fear and of lack. So yes, that may be an expense that you have, but it's an expense that's worth having, because if you're going to feel amazing after it happens, girl, even you can solve the world then. Like, you could do it. But it's just because you made a choice to show up for yourself.